Good morning. How's everybody doing? So, as we start, or as I start, I'd like to review. Let's take a look at Friday. Okay, so this is Friday. So this day would have been, actually no, I probably would have gotten my 2-to-1 because I had this zone here drawn out, right? And then we had this slight pullback. So I'd be looking at an entry either here, because we're starting to see these higher lows at this point, right? So you could look at an entry at this spot, or once again an entry right here, get the 2-to-1, and this of course is pre-market. So looking at an entry at about quarter after 9. Now as you look at taking trades right at open, we're getting rejection off the ADMA, and price starts falling again. Then at this area, as price moved up, I drew the zone out again, looking for price to come back and looking for the long position. So price comes back up. Now if you've taken an entry at this point, which was 218 and 3/4, you would have got stopped out. And then we got down to this area here, which was 93.75, which was the fake out. And then price came back up. We get this pullback. You could look at an entry probably at 218.75 or 250. This would be 1-to-1, and obviously this is your 2-to-1. And then price pushed back again. This is the area where you want to see what price is doing, right? Like sometimes you're gonna get this fake out, right? And then we have this new zone that I drew out, right? Now you notice price is holding. At this point, price is still holding. We still have this higher low, and then we get this pullback right here. And if this is what you're seeing, right, then your entry would be here at 218.75. So it's good enough for 4-to-1, 5-to-1 return. And of course, this area here I drew out before I left this zone here, the supply zone. Now watch what happens as price is moving. Right, price gets up here, it stalls, comes back down, it comes back down to 250, it doesn't break it. We get one touch, and then we get a second touch. And as you notice too, buyers are in control at this point. Buyers are still in control, comes up again to this area, and then we get a rejection. We get a retest of this 375, and price pushes it down. So we have one touch, two touch, then the third, it breaks, but it doesn't continue downwards. And then we get these higher lows developing. And your entry point, you'd probably be looking, or I'd be looking at this area here, either here, or I might even target, say, this area as well for an entry. So once again, it's what you're seeing, right? And as you notice, like I said, 1580 are indicating the buyers are in control. It comes down here, come together, but look, it splits open once again, and we're looking for that consistent gap, and we get it, and you can get at least what, a 4-to-1 return, 4-to-1, or if your entry's up here, at least a 3-to-1. And then look at what price does right off this zone, this supply zone here that I drew further back, where we get the rejection, you get the pullback. You can look for an entry either here at 406.25 or 380. This would get you the 1-to-1 on, and you would need to hold. And not only would you have to hold, but you'd have to move your stop loss up slightly as well in order for price to continue downwards. So sometimes you're gonna have to hold through it, right? Like if that's what you believe where price is gonna go. Either that, or you can move your stop loss probably to the body of this candle or the wick of it, I'd say. Mind you, at that point, you may as well just have it at your probably move it up even more at this point. So you'd probably take a 2-to-1 hit, right? If your entry was in at 375. So, but it's a good return, at least 6-to-1, right? And if price does come down, you can look for that continuation. If you're worried, here's another entry here. You get the pullback, a nice rejection off the swing low, and then look for the move down once again. 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, so 5-to-1 return. 5-to-1 return to 4:10 p.m. And now let's look at yesterday's price action. So the zone I drew out, I believe before I left, I had to leave really early yesterday for work. But yeah, so I drew this zone out, price came up here, get a rejection off that, price comes back, breaks here, and now hits this demand zone. And once again, buyers are in control at this point on. They are looking for the pullback. You get this deep pullback, and then you get a second pullback. And we're definitely targeting this for entry, which would have been 836. And once again, that's pre-market. I don't think I've taken anything. Actually, I haven't taken anything pre-market. I've taken trades after hours. And when I say after hours, that's after 6 p.m. So if you're targeting this level or this zone here, you can take it long. Once again, these zones, I don't always live by them. I'll actually trade through it if my belief is that price will go higher. When that price did go up higher, I had this zone drawn out again. And once again, price got up here. Discount was 406.25, and then price started dumping. Once again, as soon as you immediately realize where discount is in terms of pricing, look at the next level, right? It got up to my zone, and that's when I'm looking for price to start retracing. Once price starts retracing in that zone, that's where you got to ask yourself, well, where is discount? Was discount at 406.25? If that's so, then you're targeting 375. And if not, your next level you're looking at is 343.75. And that would give you a nice return there. So 6-to-1 return. Get a slight pullback here. However, if you did not get an entry, like I said, I'm usually looking for the pullback. Here's the pullback here. And this is where you're going to have to sit through this. And you're going to get at least a 4-to-1 return if the entry is here. Actually, sorry, 3-to-1. Didn't quite get down here. So 3-to-1 still good. And then as you know, this would have been the target, right? Had price just kept on moving down with pullbacks. And as we all know, when you're trading, price doesn't always do that. No, it likes to pull back up and come back and then pull back again. And then finally it moved down. There was a divergence right here. It's like the thinnest of margins right down here. Right. So I'm just showing you what it looks like. If you can spot it quickly, then you know right away that price will be going down, and then you can target this last pullback here, and then start targeting. What I'm also liking is, you notice, look at these wicks, right? Like I said, anytime you're starting to see wicks and rejections, it's a signal the price will start moving the opposite direction. Once again, take it with a grain of salt. That's not always the case, but in terms of confirmation, that's one of the things I'll look for. And price not only got down here, but eventually even broke and took out the day's low of day. And then it had a rebound, retracement after 257. Now, when price broke down at this level, or this point, I did look at the 5 minute, but the candles were just too big. Now, I've drawn out 1 minute as well as, I don't think I've drawn out the 2 minute, but you could even also look at the 2 minute, right? Because I believe I drew this out on the 5 minute. Sorry, using the 5 minute, I switched to 2 minute and drew it out. And when price got to this point here, we got the rejection. Look how much resistance we get at this point, right? All these wicks just ended up closing on this area. And once again, once we've seen these wicks, price started moving down. You can get, if you're targeting this area here at 29,000, you'll get at least a 3-to-1 return. If not here, 2-to-1 return. That's still nice. Before price stops at this point and then pushes back up. Okay, let's look at today's. See what we got. So last night I got home around 6:30. I was looking at this area for an entry point. I didn't take it. Missed out an opportunity for 2-to-1. I believe I need about 1,200 or 1,300 to pass the eval. So today I'll definitely be looking for a 2-to-1. And if not, hopefully the 1-to-1. So right now we just took out yesterday's low of day. Looks like price could continue further down. So let's take this off. Now we're looking further down. So this would be, I think this was Tuesday's low. But that's what I'm looking at. Can price go even further than that? Absolutely. This would have been the previous week's Friday close, I believe. So we can even head further down here. Let's see what happens. Market just open. Okay, so we have divergence back here. Definitely could have targeted that. This zone I drew out afterwards. See if we get anything here. I'm getting a pullback off the MNQ. had like 3 touches, actually 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, broke it. Broke the zone here, came back up. Okay, I'm gonna put in a buy order. Price comes back up to 37.50. Let's pull back here. And I'd like to get the 2-to-1. And I need 1300, so 2-to-1 plus a little would work. Move my stop loss to break even. Sorry, slightly over break even. I'd like to move this up a little bit more. Hopefully this is just a pullback. To push us up higher. This isn't me getting greedy, I'm just looking for that extra 100 for the pass. Definitely use a bullish candle at this point. Let's see if the 6 or the 10 EMA come up to give that support for that extra push. Okay, so it took me out. So we didn't get the 2-to-1, and if you notice too, like it just missed by margin, right? I could look for another entry long here, even though it took me out. So the entry I'd be looking at is 2,900. It does come back. We have this bullish flag. This zone I'm slightly worried for. had I moved it right at break even, it probably would have been close to taking me out. So I would have gotten the 2-to-1 plus some. However, that's not the case. I guess right now I'm looking for the 1-to-1. I mean, price can't come back up to this, at least this level, right? That's something I would be targeting. But right now I'm just looking for that 1-to-1. So let's see if price goes even higher than here, or is there another pullback? So once again, I could have moved my stop loss right to break even. I don't think it would have taken me out, at least. I don't think it would have. Yeah, I would have still been just once again. So this is a little bit a lesson. This is why you want to move it to break even. You look at these candles, it doesn't even get there. Like we're talking like one tick away. But instead I moved it to an area where it was slightly above, right? So another lesson, and I've done that before as well, right? Where I'd move it just above break even. And I think I do so just because I don't want to take that small loss, right, of like $5 or $10, which is not a big deal. Had I held, I would have got the 2-to-1. So that's all right. I mean, I could look for another entry. So it would have been, this would have been a 4-to-1 return, right? I held it at this point. So small errors equals a small victory, but nonetheless, it's still a dub. So at this point, I'm looking at a 1-to-1, a little bit over a 1-to-1 return. I'm looking for 700 to pass. So this is a bearish flag. Get this strong. This was just a little bit lower. This is an engulfing candle, but I was going off of momentum, and this is definitely what you want to see, right? A strong pushback here. It would have been nice that it stopped right here, where the 6 and 10 EMA were, but that was not the case. So, and once again, I could have just moved my stop loss to break even. I would have got there. I mean, I could target this area. Price came back and sacrificed the 1-to-1 that I made. And if I chose to do that and I gave it back, that's fine. 'Cause then I'd just be break even for the day. I definitely wouldn't be looking for another entry if it was a loss, right? Let's see if price retest this swing high and we get a push off that. Yeah, this would have been nice down here, but yeah, like I didn't react quick enough to come back to this section because I was reviewing. Maybe I have to make my reviews just a little bit quicker, because this definitely would have been an entry I would have looked at, just because price came in. I think off the 5 minute, this might have just been like a wick. Let's see. Okay, so it's closed slightly below it. This is the 5, this is the 15, and price off the 5 minute just slightly, just close slightly below. So this is the green candle. Sorry, this is the green candle that I'm targeting. I'll have a lot going on here. I'll take the 15-minute off so you can see. But this is the candle I was targeting. The next level you're looking at off this is this area here, right? Like this is what I'm looking at. This would be next level. And then we have the 15 and the 5 up here. Which, had you been trading this morning right around here? What time was that at? 3:50 a.m. That would have been a nice target for the takedown. But yeah, this is just slightly below that. So, and once again, right, anytime you're taking the entry, just circle back. Like, I mean, literally put a circle on it. That's why you took the entry and what you were seeing at that moment in time, right? So I would have circled this area, took my entry, circled this area. I would have told myself, yes, I like the support there off that demand zone. And that's why I took the entry up. Slight fake out to the downside. And we get buyers coming in. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to take the zone out. And so this, see if price comes back here and we get a push off again. Or price may just come into this zone here between 29,000 and 937.50. We'll start on 937 and 906 and a quarter. Could be bouncing in between here, right, before we get a push up or a push down. And once again, had I gone in, actually here, I'll show you where I did. See, put on the markers so you can see where I got in. The reason why you don't want to keep these on either is it's because it takes away from analyzing the rest of the trade, right? Like this is just distracting. So my entry was at 239. So this actually, my entry was actually late off this because it should have been 237, right? 237 should have been my entry, but nonetheless, 239. And if people saw it too, like I had it right at 237. So a little bit of slippage there. And you want to recognize that as well, right? So if that's the case, like if I did enter 239 and a quarter, and my entry should have been 237.50, move your stop loss to the correct price, right? 237.50. Because like I said, right, like price did not even touch that area. This is one tick away. As far as I'm concerned, we'll go in even more just to double check. Yeah, look where price is at this point. Misses it by one tick there, and same thing at this point. I still would have been in the trade, and I would have got my 2-to-1 plus extra right at this point probably, right? And then I got an entry here at 231 3/4. Oh, sorry, no, that's my exit, sorry. My other entry was in at 29,050, slightly off. And I had a zone drawn out, that's why I took the exit. I definitely could have held it for that 2 to 1 and be one step closer to passing the eval. It's okay. We're not looking to rush the process, right? Just take your time. The NQ isn't going anywhere. You always have another day to make the trade, but this would have been a nice 4 to 1 return had I passed the eval and I was already funded. Yeah, so 6 times 4, 2,400 would have been great if I'd passed the eval. All right, let's take the markers off and let's see if I see anything that I like. That's a nice pullback. Not currently, but where I took my entry off the MNQ. Okay, so this could be discount, right? I wasn't even watching the MNQ. Yeah, if I designate discount, price can pull back to this part here. Or if you read it as being discount, your entry's right here. You're looking for the 1 to 1. You would have gotten it right there. And you're seeing nice strong momentum push up too. So that's another indication to possibly take the entry. And generally, I'm just looking for that 1 to 1. And 2 to 1 would be great. But sometimes you're going to see price pull back somewhat to here, or maybe even back down to here, which would take you out. So just understand where discount is, and it was at 875. Once again, just circle that area if that's what you designate as being discount, right? And once again, I'm generally looking for a 1 to 1 return, if not more. Once again, now price is starting to pull back. And this is why you don't want to be afraid of these pullbacks, right? You're going to always have pullbacks before price pushes back in the direction you're looking for. Will that always be the case? No. But you have to anticipate it. Okay, not quite the pullback, but a nice push up. Okay, I think I'm going to throw this on sim. And my trade's done for the day. So yeah, you'll notice just as at the open, right? Like your day can be done within, how long was this trade? 9:31 had I held. 9:36. So you're looking at about, 5 minutes, right? Now if I held and I was funded 37, so that would have been 6 minutes. And you would have already been done for the day. It's like this every day? No. Sometimes you're going to have to hold for at least 30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes. You just got to read what's happening in terms of volume in the market, right? If you're getting little small candles out of that, it's a telltale of how the market will be going that day. There are days like that where it will happen. Mostly, I believe I've mostly seen it in the summer. I'd probably say August. That's when a lot of traders are taking time off. And you're going to see a lot of micro candles. And if that's what you're seeing, my recommendation is to just stay off the charts. You don't have to trade every day. If you had a great week, you may want to decide to, maybe take the following week off. Set goals for yourself and be realistic. Okay, we have this pullback. Now, what did I say earlier? I said price could be moving between 29,000 and 906 and a quarter. Broke through, but this was the area I was looking at for price to go sideways and consolidate. The one to know whether or not you're advancing in your analysis is if you're able to talk yourself or talk through the trade, right? In terms of what you're seeing, just like what I'm doing right now, it makes a big difference. I have spoken with other people, and I've also watched a recent YouTube video where I'm sure you've probably seen it yourself. We had a successful trader speak with, I think was 30 unprofitable traders, and one of the things he talked about was it's very different in terms of thinking and taking the execution and speaking and taking the execution. So if you can record yourself talking through the trade, that'll make a big, big difference. Okay, I have this lower high right now. However, I'm not sold on it. Though we have this. I mean, price can just come up here, then come back down, right? So let's check the 5 minute and see if I'm seeing anything right now. Sorry, the 5 minute. Yeah, these candles are massive. Let's look at the 2 minute. Maybe the 2 minute or 1 minute might have a candle there that I like. Yeah, so this area here, I don't mind. Here, I'll throw this on the 2 minute. And I'll highlight this candle. Let's see if I can grab this candle here. This zone here, sorry, candle. Grab this zone. And I'll highlight this area here. Let's give it a different color. Okay, so that's my 2 minute. And I'll switch back. So if you want to know what I trade in terms of the ticks, this is it. If you've been watching since the beginning, this is what I like trading. It's a tick chart. Once again, you can use the 2000 as well, right? And then everything else that I draw out is off the 5 minute. So it's off the 15 minute, the 5 minute, the 1 minute, or the 2 minute. I primarily like trading off the 5 minute and the 15 minute supply and demand zone. And of course, most of my entries that I prefer taking are off of pullbacks. But once again, you can also take it off of zones that you've drawn out and then take your entry through these levels that I've drawn out. Or you can trade it naked as well with none of these indicators, which I think is off. It's like this is what you'd be looking at, right? So, however, I like everything that I have here set up, and it works for me. The key is it has to work for you. It can't be distracting or confusing. And this, for a lot of people, is too much, right? Everything here that I have going. They're better off just trading trading with a blank screen. To each their own. Okay, so it's still in the zone. Not quite sure which direction it's going just yet. We could come up to here, stall, maybe stall in this zone, and then get the push up. That's a possibility. I'll extend this a little bit further out. What is that? Right around there. I mean, this, right, this was off the 2 minute, right? We get that entry. If that's what you're looking off of the 2 minute, an entry right here would be good. 68 and 68.75, right? 968.75. A 1-to-1. Possibly target a 2-to-1 or even a 3-to-1 if, you know, price might still want to come down to this zone. Now, my way of trading is just one strategy, right? There are other strategies out there that you can look for on YouTube. I mainly just learned through using YouTube. I didn't take any course. There have been courses that I've taken where it hasn't been great, or I didn't quite understand what they're explaining, or to be honest, they just weren't good at explaining. And that's something you have to be prepared for, right? So this didn't hold up. Take this off. I mean, this, you can still have like this move up here too, right? Like this can still be considered a higher low for the push up, but at this point it would be a lower high because price is below this area for this last swing high. You just want to keep tracking it as price is moving. Like I said on Friday, right? Like, where was it? Yeah, like, you notice price came down, pushed up, came down again, and then we entered this zone. I did try looking off the 5 minute, but this, it just wasn't clean. I think they were pretty close to each other. This swing high from this swing high. So there's nothing there. Okay, so we'll possibly get a second touch. Right now we got a second touch around this zone. this area here might actually still be live if it breaks through. And obviously, next case would be the zone down here. Definitely this zone. You know, if price breaks through here, we're going to target this area right here. Discount probably at 781 and a quarter. Yeah, don't be afraid to pull out of your charts too, and just gauge where price could be going to if it breaks through a zone. It would have been nice to have passed the evaluation today and then start on the funded account tomorrow. But that's going to have to wait. So tomorrow I'll be looking for the 1-to-1, hopefully a little bit over the 1-to-1 because I need 700. My 1-to-1 is 625, right? So I'd be short 75 from passing it. So when I look back here, right, like I did have a zone drawn out here, and that was my worry. I think it was right below here, off the 5-minute. Let's go back and look. Sorry, that's the 2-minute. Let's go to the 5-minute. So this was the area that I had drawn out. This area right here. Price got to that point and then, but as you can see, it went even higher. Like it could have definitely held for break even again, right? Like worst case scenario, I take another break even trade, and that's fine, right? Like, yeah, I've left the 1-to-1 on the table, which is fine with me, right? Like I'm comfortable enough where I'll take the break even trades, and not feel bad about it. And I don't want people to feel bad about that as well. Like if you missed that 1-to-1, that's okay. You know, there will be other trades. Even if you've watched me since the beginning, I've always said there will be other trades. But if you treat it like it's the end of the world, then you're gonna make mistakes, and you're gonna start taking losses that you shouldn't be taking and forcing trades that you shouldn't be forcing. And as you notice, my channel, like I'm not hyping anything up either. It's realistic. I'm not going for home runs. Will there be times where I go for it? Absolutely. Now's not the time though. Right? But once I get funded and I'm doing well, then you can start looking at taking those chances. I've only had one payout ever since I've started using prop firms, and I believe I can actually tell you how many prop firms I've done. So I still have 3 accounts from Top Step that I've passed. I just haven't activated them because they're about $200 each. But once I activate them, I can start trading them. And I believe I've used about, or I've done about 14 to 15 evals at this point, to this point. And I know that's not a lot, And the reason why that's not a lot is because the way you're seeing me trade right now is how I trade it. Generally, it takes me about 10 days to pass, between 5 and 10 days to pass. This would have been nice to pass an eval. So roughly 2 weeks, I guess. And that's all I do, right? You just slowly build. And the only one that's actually rushing would be you, right? Nobody's telling you to rush it. See, this level still might be alive. I'll extend it through here. But we might be in discount now. This would be discount if it's off this last zone here. It broke through this one. We had one, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 broke through, pushed back up. This would be the 6th touch. Once again, we have this pullback here. I thought the pullback would happen somewhere around here, but it happened here. Nice bearish candle. And then we get that push down. And you're getting at least a 2-to-1, right? And once I said earlier, right, like I'm not, even though I have that zone there, I'll still trade through it. I will trade through it. It's not concrete. Okay, now, do you recall what I said earlier? So now we're targeting this level right down here. I'm just pulling it out just to let you see what happens. Now it still can break through. Sellers are now in control. As a discount would be 781.25. So let's see if we get a pullback at this point. This is where I was targeting. Unless you're looking for a low of day, the last swing, which was from last, I think it was the last or previous Friday. So this is the area, or you're targeting this low here, right? But this is what I was looking at 781.25. Yeah, this been the area that I was looking at, hold 3-to-1 right there. Nice return. Even though I chose to stop at this point, way back here, once again, if a trade develops, you can still take it. And like I said, I'd be okay with giving back the 1-to-1 that I made today. And right now I'm currently on Sim. I've switched accounts. So if you see me take any trades, I'm just reading price action at this point and my levels if I do take an entry. So if this was discount, an entry would probably be here. So I am on Sim. My entry would be 812.50. Let's see if it comes in and takes me up. I'll be looking for the 1-to-1, possibly 2-to-1. Like this could still be what we saw back here, is that fake out, right? Come back up to the zone and then get the push up. So you're anticipating what price can do. I think it was Friday, I recall, when I did the review, where price came down, did the fake out, came back into the zone, got support, and then we had that push up. See if it fulfills a 1-to-1 return. Now just remember, this is on sim. Oh, it took me out. So once again, right, I would have just circled this area that I was looking at, right? That's what I saw. I took the entry there, and then it took me out. Now price does come back. You can look for another entry long, right? Price comes back to that point. So I took the entry again. Let's see what happens. Does it come back and take me out? And those are the kinds of chances you'll have to take. Will it work out just because you entered it a second time? No. It could still take me out once again. Yeah, like if I had entered right, I could look for the 2-to-1. I'd probably be targeting a 2-to-1. Let's see if buyers decide to step in. I'm getting some support off the 10 EMA, off the MNQ. But I need to see it close above it. Oh, we're getting some rejection. So it took me out a second time. So at that point, I would be done for the day. Right. I don't want to say third time's the charm by any means. When I usually take 2 losses, that's when I call it a day. I think there's only been a handful of times where I've taken the third entry. Okay, so let's see if this is actually discount, or we're going to get some resistance. So I was wrong about 781 and a quarter. Right? I thought price could definitely hold and push. You know, you're gonna get some of them. You're gonna get some of your analysis wrong, and you move on to the next. Looks like price is gonna break through this area as well. Price can continue even further. We're getting a rejection off the 6 EMA right here. have this inverted candle. Okay, so now you want to look at where price, if price does retrace, you want to start drawing out your zones, right? It's one thing to constantly watch as price is moving down, but you got to prepare if price does start retracing. Right, we have this. So this might be too large of a zone here. Let's look at the 2 minute. Yeah, maybe this. This is an interesting area as well. This would be a massive zone here. I think that's probably too big. I'll look at the 2 minute again, see what that looks like. Yeah, so I think that's just as big of a zone. Right, so we still have this 2 minute. Like this was, now if you look back too, right, like I said, I didn't like the 5 minute, so I looked at the 1 minute and then I looked at the 2 minute, and right there, the rejection. So this was actually discount, which is 29,000 was discount. Then we got this pullback here, because we're looking for the pullback, unless, once again, if you highlighted this area as being discount, right, then this would be your entry, or this could actually be your entry here, but you're going to have to hold through there. But anytime we're getting consolidation, that does worry me in terms of taking any entry. But if you outline why you've taken the entry there, then don't be so hard on yourself, and even though it's in an area of consolidation. Because once again, first off, we have this 2 minute supply zone. Discount here, 29,000. Then you're looking at entry, 968.75, or 937.50, or once again, target the pullback, 875 is the entry. Switch to the 2 minute again. So yeah, this is a massive zone. That's off the 2 minute. I'll even extend this 2 minute here. Oh, they're overlapping. I do like this area as well for rejection. So, you know, let's put this right here. I'm going to take off that 15 minute because it's blowing through it. Now we have this area. Stay on say for another 10 minutes and then I'm gonna call it a day. I'll even take off the swing low, course, at this low of day. Of course, not today. This was last Friday. I think not this previous Friday, but the Friday before that. Took that out. And now we're making new lows. I do have a level right here. So we have all this. Oh yeah, so this is the fair value. Sorry, this is a gap that did not get filled. This yellow area here is, not to say price will get there, but it's definitely a possibility. And this gap did not get filled. So May 6th, price could be heading there. We have this other low that it can get to. I do like this movement whenever I see this. I usually like to take an entry short, or if I see it going long, I'll take a long position. Once I start seeing rejections like this happening. I would have went short probably here. Looks like it gets stopped out had I made this entry short. And right now sellers are in control. Even when we got this pullback, right? We're starting to see the gap expand here, right? So I don't think I talked about that. But you can see the types of criterias I'm looking at when I do make the entries. And you should be doing the same thing yourself when you're taking the entries. Now, if this drops down and goes further, you'd have to be careful of divergence. Didn't get any off here. And that would have taken me out. That definitely would have taken me out. Well, this might be a zone you want to consider drawing off a supply zone off of. So yes, so this is definitely a zone you may want to consider. Well, actually that's the 2 minute, I want the 5 minute. Yeah, you actually want to wait for this to finish developing. At least probably a couple more candles. I have that pullback. Right now I'm getting rejection off the MNQ off the 50 EMA. It's created a pullback for a possible short position. There is divergence off the MNQ all the way back at 10:07. So this could actually be the point where it starts reversing. See, price retest this area here, push up higher. And draw out the zone. So right now. See if price does anything at this zone. If not, I'm gonna call it a day. This would definitely be discount. 687.50. this is the 2-minute zone that I've drawn out. See if you get any support off this 15 MA, or will it become resistance and reject it? Sometimes when you get even highs like this, it could mean that price will start going the opposite way. You know what? I think I'm gonna call it a day. Thanks for joining me. I will see everybody here tomorrow morning, 9:15.